The galaxy had grown complacent, blinded by its own arrogance, believing humanity was a minor player, a species too primitive, too divided, too soft to ever pose a real threat. And the moment the first alien strike fleets appeared at the edge of the Sol system, they carried with them that same smug certainty, assuming that the humans would scatter, submit, or die without putting up more than token resistance. But the humans had been watching, learning, preparing, and even as the alien vessels decloaked and unleashed torrents of plasma and antimatter at orbital stations, every attack was met with calm precision, missiles intercepted, defense grids activated, and strategic countermeasures deployed almost before the enemy could register the first volley, aboard the flagship of Admiral Ortiz, one of humanity's finest tacticians. The command bridge buzzed with controlled urgency as operators coordinated orbital reinforcements, calculated evasive trajectories for civilian evacuations, and sent encrypted distress signals that were already being routed to every capable ship in the sector. Meanwhile, the alien fleet commanders exchanged frantic communications, trying to comprehend why their overwhelming numbers and superior technology were being nullified with such effortless efficiency, never expecting that humanity's true power was not just in the machines, but in the adaptability, ingenuity, and relentless drive of its people, as Earth's forces countered fleets. Emerging from hidden staging zones and uncharted slipstreams executed maneuvers that the alien mind could barely predict. Pincer attacks converged from directions the attackers thought impossible, and every human ship, from sleek cruisers to heavily armed cargo vessels retrofitted with advanced weaponry, struck with surgical precision, disabling enemy hulls, crippling engines, and taking down the vanguard in ways that made the alien admiral's confidence crumble, while on the surface, civilian engineers and programmers, having long anticipated such a strike, unleashed sophisticated cyber countermeasures, infiltrating enemy systems and turning their own AI against them, causing confusion, misfires, and catastrophic chain reactions that illuminated the void with brilliant flashes of destruction. Back on the flagship, Ortiz observed the battlefield through real-time tactical feeds, noting with grim satisfaction how every calculated risk, every technological gamble, every human innovation had paid off as alien squadrons fell apart like fragile toys. Transmissions intercepted from the enemy revealed mounting panic and disbelief, messages begging for explanations, questions shouted across the void as if the humans could be reasoned with. But humanity did not hesitate, did not flinch, and with the coordination of centuries of scientific development, tactical doctrine, and unyielding resolve, the counterattack escalated, precise orbital bombardments neutralizing enemy capital ships, while smaller assault crafts, piloted by fearless human volunteers, darted through debris fields to deliver critical blows. And yet, as the alien command attempted to regroup, the humans revealed another layer of strategy, deploying advanced drones capable of independent tactical assessment, weaving through space at unimaginable speeds, striking vital points and further eroding morale. While back on Earth, political leaders coordinated not only military responses but humanitarian efforts, ensuring that civilian populations were safeguarded even amidst the chaos, showcasing a unity and strategic depth that the alien observers had never fathomed, as the initial seconds of the conflict stretched into what the attackers would later recall as a nightmare. The humans did not merely repel the assault, they dismantled it piece by piece, turning what was meant to be a swift victory for the aliens into a catastrophic failure. And by the time the first hour had passed, the invaders were forced into disarray, their fleets shattered, their communication networks compromised, and their pride in ruins, realizing too late that attacking humanity had been miscalculation of unimaginable proportions, that the species they assumed weak, uncoordinated, and primitive had instead demonstrated tactical brilliance, technological mastery, and an unbreakable will, proving in the harshest way possible that underestimating humans was a mistake that no galactic civilization would ever repeat. As Ortiz watched the final alien ship succumb to coordinated fire and internal sabotage, she allowed herself a brief moment to reflect on the cost, the lives lost, and the enormity of what had just occurred, knowing that humanity had survived not by luck or chance, but through preparation, courage, and the refusal to accept subjugation. And somewhere in the shattered remnants of the alien fleet, fear began to replace arrogance, disbelief replaced certainty, and a simple, unavoidable truth became clear. Humanity, when cornered, when provoked, when attacked first, would unleash a force unlike any other in the galaxy, and those few surviving seconds of the first strike will be remembered across star systems not as humanity's weakness, but as the instant every invader realized that they had made the gravest mistake of their existence. In the aftermath of the initial engagement, the alien forces were in full retreat, their formations fractured and their morale shattered, and yet humanity did not squander the momentum, deploying rapid response fleets to intercept stragglers, secure strategic jump points, and establish orbital control over contested regions while simultaneously conducting reconnaissance to assess the extent of enemy capabilities. Aboard the bridge of the newly commissioned battleship Titan, Captain Rajesh Malhotra coordinated with precision, his voice calm but resolute as he directed squadrons through asteroid fields and debris clouds, exploiting natural cover to strike at the remnants of the alien vanguard, while intelligence officers decrypted fragmented transmissions from the attackers, revealing panic, conflicting orders, and a growing fear that the humans were not simply defending, they were reorganizing, striking back with a discipline and tactical intuition that the aliens could neither anticipate nor counter. Across the Sol system, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to repair critical infrastructure damage during the initial bombardment, simultaneously upgrading defensive systems with technologies that had long been kept in reserve, prototypes now deployed in real combat situations, showing effects far beyond what the aliens had assumed humanity was capable of. And within human-controlled space, every planetary command center synchronized with naval fleets, civilian, satellites, and deep space exploration vessels, creating a web of coordinated response that allowed humans to anticipate movements, trap retreating forces, and cut off escape routes with a blend of strategy, ingenuity, and relentless tenacity. As news of the humans' decisive action spread, allied species and neutral civilizations, many of whom had previously doubted or dismissed Earth's potential, began to reconsider their positions, secretly relaying intelligence and resources to aid human forces. And in distant star systems, the alien High Council convened an emergent session, their once confident deliberations now fraught with tension, confusion, and the dawning realization that their underestimation of humanity had been catastrophic. Admiral Ortiz, a senior commander of the attacking fleet, faced interrogation from his peers as he recounted the unexpected resilience, coordination, and raw adaptability of the human forces, admitting that even their most advanced predictive algorithms had failed to anticipate how quickly and effectively humanity could respond to a sudden, multi-front assault. Meanwhile, humanity's internal communications reflected a society not only surviving but thriving under pressure, military leaders coordinating with scientists, diplomats, and civilian administrators to ensure that every action taken in the field was supported by technological innovation, strategic foresight, and logistical efficiency. And as the alien forces attempted to regroup in distant sectors, human intelligence operatives infiltrated occupied outposts, gathering critical data on enemy weapons, propulsion systems, and command hierarchies, information that would allow humanity to preempt future attacks and maintain the upper hand. While on the ground, human forces participated in rapid evacuation missions, rescuing trapped civilians of both human and allied alien populations, demonstrating a resolve to protect the weak even amidst ongoing conflict, and in doing so, further confounding the enemy, who had assumed that humanity's priority would be vengeance, not mercy. And as the hours turned into days, the initial shock of the alien attack transformed into full-blown dread, with commanders realizing that every miscalculation, every underestimation, had compounded into a spiral of losses and strategic collapse. While back on Earth, the Global Council and Military Command coordinated a series of counteroffensives designed to solidify humanity's position, establish permanent control over key systems, and send a message across the galaxy that attacking humans was no longer just ill-advised, it was suicidal. And as humans advanced, striking with unrelenting precision and strategic foresight, the alien forces were forced into a desperate defensive posture, realizing that every attempt to salvage pride, resources, or territory were being systematically dismantled. And in those moments, a single, undeniable truth began to echo across the stars. Humanity, underestimated and attacked first, had transformed every second of the enemy's arrogance into a tactical advantage, proving that the species they had dismissed as weak, disorganized, and primitive was, in reality, a force capable of altering the balance of power in the galaxy. reshaping alliances, and redefining the consequences of aggression, and as the alien survivors retreated to distant sectors, they carried with them a seed of fear, a recognition that the humans they had thought easily defeated were not only alive but stronger, smarter, and more coordinated than any civilization had predicted, setting the stage for conflicts yet to come, where humanity's true capabilities will be revealed in ways that no invader could ignore or survive. As the alien forces reeled from their initial defeat, humanity pressed the advantage without hesitation, coordinating multi-pronged strikes across sectors previously considered beyond reach, with Admiral Ortiz leading a coalition fleet that seamlessly integrated military vessels, advanced drone units, and experimental warships equipped with quantum displacement technology, allowing humans to appear unpredictably across vast distances, striking at supply lines, command hubs, and fleet concentrations that the aliens had assumed were secure. Simultaneously, Captain Rajesh Malhotra led rapid response teams to reclaim outposts, neutralize rogue enemy units, and salvage technology for reverse engineering, demonstrating humanity's unmatched ability to learn and adapt in real time. On Earth, the scientific community worked feverishly to enhance communications and intelligence-gathering networks, deploying autonomous probes capable of traversing deep space anomalies to map enemy movements and predict attack patterns with unprecedented accuracy. And in tandem, diplomats reached out to previously neutral civilizations, offering alliances and protection, leveraging the humans' demonstrated capability to sway the balance of power in the galaxy, while alien high command struggled to maintain cohesion, disagreements, and panic erupting as field commanders reported complete operational failures, loss of critical ships, and unprecedented human tactical ingenuity. And as Ortiz's fleet approached the core of the attacker's remaining stronghold, humans revealed yet another layer of strategy, deploying stealth-enabled carriers that release waves of nanotech drones capable of dismantling weapon systems at the molecular level, neutralizing energy shields, and rendering once impenetrable vessels vulnerable to precision strikes. Meanwhile, on planets within human-controlled space, engineers retrofitted civilian industries to produce emergency war material, creating vast arsenals that could be mobilized in days rather than months, showcasing society where innovation, coordination, and determination were applied universally, not just within the military. Back on the battlefield, alien commanders were forced to witness in real time as human ingenuity turned defensive postures into offensive dominance, with smaller squadrons executing feints, ambushes, and coordinated assaults that disoriented even the most experienced alien pilots, while intelligence intercepts revealed the attackers' growing terror as they realized that the humans were not merely fighting to survive. They were systematically dismantling their entire operational framework, eliminating redundancies, exploiting vulnerabilities, and forcing strategic retreats into sectors they once considered safe. In the void of space, civilians of allied species observed the human counterattack with awe, seeing coordinated evacuations, protection of critical habitats, and surgical strikes against enemy forces that left infrastructure intact but enemy morale shattered, sending a clear message that humanity's strength lay not only in destruction but in calculated, principled dominance. As Ortiz monitored energy grids, fleet positioning, and alien communications, she noted the speed with which human forces adapted to every contingency, every surprise, and every new threat, transforming potential setbacks into opportunities for greater advantage, while Captain Malhotra orchestrated boarding actions against crippled alien vessels, his teams using both advanced technology and human intuition to disable enemy command systems, neutralize critical crew, and extract valuable intelligence, information that would feed into the next phase of the campaign. And as days turned into weeks, the aliens began to understand a horrifying truth. Every second spent attacking humanity had been a gift, every assumption of weakness had been exploited, and every act of aggression had been meticulously anticipated and countered, with human forces demonstrating resilience, innovation, and coordination on a scale that made previous galactic conflicts pale in comparison. Within the holds of alien governments, panic turned to disbelief as reports flooded in of fleet annihilation, abandoned systems, and human-led humanitarian interventions that simultaneously liberated oppressed species and demonstrated the strategic brilliance of their attackers. And while the galaxy watched, the humans continued to advance, unrelenting, disciplined, and calculated, turning what had been an unprovoked attack into a decisive demonstration of supremacy And in those moments, it became impossible for any civilization to deny the simple, terrifying fact that the species they had once dismissed as weak, chaotic, and insignificant was now shaping the fate of stars, dictating the outcomes of wars, and proving without question that humanity, when attacked first, responded with a force, strategy, and determination that no adversary could withstand, and that the consequences of underestimating humans would resonate across the galaxy for generations to come. The remnants of the alien fleets had barely regrouped when humanity's counteroffensive escalated to a level that no galactic power could have predicted, and as Admiral Ortiz coordinated with regional commanders, she ordered synchronized strikes on key supply hubs, warp gate stations, and planetary depots, effectively cutting off enemy reinforcements while forcing their fleets into narrow, predictable corridors where human tactics could dominate. Captain Rajesh Malhotra led daring deep space raids against heavily defended positions, exploiting gravitational anomalies and sensor blind spots to strike targets deemed untouchable, while human engineers on Earth and in orbit developed adaptive targeting protocols that allowed ships to respond in millisecond to enemy maneuvers, turning each attempted counterattack into a trap for alien vessels. All the while, human diplomats reached out to smaller alien systems, offering protection and alliances in exchange for intelligence, further isolating the aggressors and revealing to the galaxy at large that humanity's reach was both defensive and expansive. As the alien command tried to comprehend the relentless human advance, panic spread. Debates erupted over abandoning contested sectors or consolidating forces. But every option had already been anticipated, as Ortiz deployed quantum displacement carriers capable of sudden strikes behind enemy lines, destroying command structures and severing communications, while specialized boarding units executed precision insertions to neutralize key alien officers and secure critical technologies. And yet humanity's focus was not solely on destruction, as humanitarian operations ensured civilian populations in contested systems were protected, reinforcing the humans' reputation as both merciless in war and principled in action, a duality that left surviving alien leaders confused and demoralized, who could not understand how a species could be simultaneously so strategic, so uncompromising in combat, and yet so measured in restraint. On battle-scarred planets, human scientists implemented rapid reconstruction projects, fortifying cities, restoring critical infrastructure, and ensuring that strategic locations were ready to serve both defense and continued technological advancement, while intelligence officers decoded captured alien archives, revealing the extent of enemy underestimation and confirming that humanity's long-term preparations had outstripped even the most advanced predictions of galactic analysts. The psychological effect on alien forces was devastating, with commanders admitting in intercepted communications that every engagement with humans felt like facing an unpredictable storm, their own assumptions and doctrines repeatedly invalidated, and as Ortiz's fleets moved deeper into the contested sectors, humans deployed automated drones capable of independent combat decision-making, striking simultaneously at multiple targets, disarming weapons, and capturing critical information, while civilians of allied species observed coordinated humanitarian and military operations that left the humans not just victorious, but respected, feared, and admired. As reports of these operations reached neutral systems, a wave of support and covert aid flowed toward humanity, further tipping the balance. The alien high command, desperate and disoriented, attempted to regroup by retreating to remote strongholds, only to find humans had anticipated every route, deploying strategic interdiction zones and preemptive strikes, cutting off supply chains, and rendering fallback positions untenable. And in those critical hours, humanity revealed a final layer of its operational genius, as covert teams infiltrated enemy command centers, deploying disruptive technologies that paralyzed decision-making, forced alien officers to rely on incomplete information, and ensured that every strategic choice was reactionary, trapped within a framework humans had already mastered. And as the alien fleets crumbled under relentless pressure, one undeniable truth spread across the void. Humanity, underestimated, attacked first, and assumed weak, had proven that adaptability, intelligence, coordination, and unyielding determination were forces more potent than any fleet, more decisive than superior technology, and more feared than any galactic weapon. And by the time the first full week of counteroffensives had concluded, alien leadership no longer debated whether humanity was a threat. They knew, with bone-deep certainty, that every mistake, every act of aggression and every underestimation had been fatal, and that the species they had attacked in arrogance had transformed the conflict into a total demonstration of supremacy, leaving the galaxy in awe, fear, and irreversible respect for humans, a lesson written in fire, strategy, and relentless human will. By the time humanity's forces had advanced deep into previously unchallenged sectors, the full scope of the aliens' miscalculation became horrifyingly clear, as human fleets, coordinated with unprecedented precision, executed a combination of orbital bombardments, precision boarding operations, and sabotage missions that dismantled enemy control networks while simultaneously preserving civilian populations and key planetary infrastructure on the command bridge of the flagship Titan, Captain Rajesh Malhotra monitored multiple simultaneous engagements, each a carefully orchestrated operation where human ingenuity exploited enemy weaknesses at every level, from weapon calibration to AI decision loops, while scientists in orbit deployed autonomous drones that could navigate hazardous asteroid fields, wormholes, and radiation belts to deliver devastating blows against alien supply convoys. And every success was amplified by intelligence gathered from captured enemy communications, allowing human commanders to anticipate movements, set traps, and manipulate the battlefield in ways the aliens could not begin to comprehend. Meanwhile, Earth's Global Council coordinated strategic support, rapidly upgrading defensive installations on key worlds, improving logistics networks, and ensuring that reinforcements arrived faster than any alien could intercept. All while diplomats secured alliances with neutral civilizations, offering protection and technological assistance in exchange for critical intelligence and additional manpower. On contested planets, human task forces conducted rescue operations, extracting civilians, scientists, and engineers from hostile zones while simultaneously deploying specialized units to disable enemy fortifications and weapons, demonstrating a blend of military ruthlessness and humanitarian principle that left alien observers baffled. The psychological impact on enemy crews was profound, as repeated defeats, unpredictable tactics, and relentless human efficiency shattered morale, leading to disarray, mutiny, and the abandonment of ships and stations alike. And as the human fleets advanced, entire alien sectors fell under temporary human control, not through sheer destruction alone, but through strategic demonstration of overwhelming capability and precision, forcing surviving enemy leaders to reconsider every previous assumption about human weakness. The humans' technological edge became increasingly apparent, with experimental propulsion systems, energy weapons, and defensive grids deployed in ways that allowed smaller human units to outmaneuver vastly larger alien formations, while covert teams infiltrated command centers, sowing confusion and redirecting resources in real time, further crippling enemy coordination. Across the galaxy, the cumulative effect was undeniable. As systems once loyal to the alien High Council began to defect, surrender, or openly provide assistance to humans, swayed by evidence of both human military dominance and the protective approach towards civilians and allied species, within alien high command, panic gave way to despair as reports of successive defeats, captured vessels, and lost sectors revealed that humanity had not only survived the initial attack, but had fundamentally rewritten the strategic landscape of the galaxy. Admiral Ortiz's once proud fleet had been reduced to scattered remnants, unable to regroup, rearm, or mount any coherent counteroffensive, and in their communications, alien officers expressed a mix of disbelief and terror, realizing that the species they had attacked first had demonstrated unparalleled adaptability, intelligence, and unity, capable of turning every act of aggression into a tactical advantage while simultaneously projecting a moral authority that further undermined enemy cohesion as human forces pressed forward, reclaiming lost territories, neutralizing threats, and securing key resources. Ortiz and Malhotra coordinated with scientists and engineers to implement long-term defensive measures, creating fortified positions and rapid response networks that would prevent future surprise attacks. And as the dust of battle settled in one sector after another, the message was clear across the stars. Humanity, underestimated and attacked first, had not only survived but had reshaped the balance of power, proving that raw determination, ingenuity, and the willingness to protect and adapt made them a force that no civilization could afford to provoke. And as alien leaders looked upon the remnants of their once dominant fleets, the staggering reality became unavoidable. They had committed a catastrophic error, one that would echo through history, marking the moment when humanity revealed its true power, leaving the galaxy forever aware that underestimating humans was a mistake with consequences beyond comprehension. As the remnants of the alien fleet attempted to regroup in distant sectors, humanity's forces shifted from pure retaliation to systematic domination, with Admiral Ortiz coordinating an intricate campaign that combined orbital strikes, surgical boarding missions, and deep space interdictions designed to prevent any chance of recovery. Captain Rajesh Malhotra led specialized assault teams aboard crippled enemy vessels, turning captured ships into tactical assets, and human engineers retrofitted them with advanced targeting systems, stealth capabilities, and AI-driven command protocols, while scientists deployed experimental drones capable of simultaneous reconnaissance, sabotage, and offensive operations, moving faster than alien sensors could track and striking with surgical precision. On planetary surfaces, human units liberated occupied cities, rescued civilians of allied and enemy species alike, and used captured alien technology to neutralize defensive installations without collateral damage, demonstrating a combination of tactical brilliance and ethical principle that both terrified and humbled alien observers, while intelligence operatives intercepted communications between alien high command and remote colonies, revealing increasing panic, desperation, and an acknowledgement that the humans had anticipated every contingency, exploited every weakness, and adapted faster than any analytical model could predict. And as humanity's multi-pronged campaign continued, neutral star systems that had been hesitant or even hostile began covertly assisting humans, supplying resources, intelligence, and safe passage, effectively isolating the remaining alien forces and demonstrating the galaxy-wide influence that humanity's coordinated response now commanded. Meanwhile, human logistics and command networks operated with new perfect efficiency, ensuring reinforcements, supplies, and technological upgrades reached every front, while alien fleets, forced into retreat, found themselves funneled into traps set across interstellar corridors, ambushed by human forces using superior tactics, coordination, and adaptability. Each encounter systematically dismantling morale, command structures, and the ability to wage organized warfare. And as Ortiz observed the final phases of the campaign from her command bridge, she noted how humanity had transformed every weakness the aliens assumed into a strategic advantage, leveraging unpredictability, ingenuity, and a relentless drive to not just survive but dominate. On multiple fronts, humans deployed experimental quantum displacement units that could appear behind enemy lines, disabling critical systems, capturing strategic assets, and forcing alien leaders into complete reactive postures, while humanitarian units simultaneously evacuated civilians, repaired critical infrastructure, and projected the humans' power as both protective and decisive, sending an unambiguous signal across the galaxy that aggression against humanity carried catastrophic consequences. And as the alien High Council convened in desperation, they were confronted with irrefutable evidence of their catastrophic miscalculation, entire fleets destroyed, supply chains annihilated, allied species secured under human protection, and their own soldiers surrendering not out of mercy but because resistance had become futile. And in that moment, it became painfully clear to every surviving alien leader that their arrogance, their underestimation, and their decision to strike first had triggered a sequence of events that humanity, with unerring precision, had turned into total galactic dominance, while the humans maintained a moral and strategic discipline, ensuring that the galaxy recognized both their might and their principle. And as Ortiz and Malhotra oversaw the final neutralization of alien command networks, humanity achieved not only victory but complete operational supremacy, establishing control over key systems, securing allies, and leaving the remaining invaders with no options, no hope, and the irrevocable knowledge that attacking humans had been the gravest mistake of their existence, a miscalculation that would be remembered for generations as a moment a species they assumed weak, primitive, and disorganized revealed the full scope of its intelligence, adaptability, and will, proving to the galaxy without question that humanity, when attacked first, responded not with fear or hesitation, but with a relentless, brilliant, and overwhelming force that reshaped the balance of power, ensuring that from this point forward, no civilization would ever consider underestimating humans again. With the final alien fleets neutralized and their command structures dismantled, humanity's dominance across the contested sectors became absolute, and as Admiral Ortiz observed the aftermath from the flagship bridge, she reflected on the orchestration of every strategy, every maneuver, and every human life that had contributed to this decisive victory. Captain Rajesh Malhotra oversaw the integration of captured alien vessels and technology into human fleets, not for conquest, but for defensive readiness, ensuring that humanity could respond to any future threats with unmatched speed, efficiency, and tactical superiority across liberated planets. Human forces worked tirelessly to restore infrastructure, protect civilians, and stabilize governments, earning not only the gratitude of liberated populations, but the admiration of neutral and allied species who had watched with awe as humans transformed what was expected to be a swift defeat into an unassailable triumph, while alien survivors retreated to isolated systems, their societies fractured, their fleets decimated, and their leaders forced to confront the catastrophic consequences of attacking a species they had so grievously underestimated. Intelligence operatives intercepted panic communications as alien commanders acknowledged in fear and disbelief that humans had anticipated every contingency, exploited every weakness, and turned every act of aggression into strategic advantage. And in the Galactic Councils, that once dismissed humanity as insignificant, deliberations now centered on how to approach a species that had proven overwhelmingly capable, morally disciplined, and tactically brilliant. Humanity's blend of technological innovation, strategic foresight, and relentless adaptability had rewritten the rules of engagement for every civilization in the galaxy, while diplomats, scientists, and military leaders coordinated to establish secure communication channels, protective pacts, and research initiatives with allied species, solidifying relationships built on trust, respect, and the recognition of human ingenuity. On Earth, the celebrations were tempered by reflection, as leaders honored the lives lost, the sacrifices made, and the understanding that survival had required unity, courage, and the full application of human ingenuity. But even in solemn recognition of cost, the overwhelming sentiment was one of triumph, for humanity had demonstrated its true capabilities, revealing to the galaxy that aggression against humans would never be without consequence. As fleets repaired, cities rebuilt, and systems stabilized, the story of humanity's response to the first unprovoked attack spread across the stars, becoming legend among allied species and a warning among potential aggressors. Humanity had shown that resilience, coordination, and ingenuity were not mere traits, but defining characteristics that could turn every challenge, every threat, every attack into a decisive advantage. And as Ortiz and Malhotra looked to the stars, planning further exploration and safeguarding of allied worlds, the galaxy itself seemed to acknowledge profound truth. The species that had once been underestimated, attacked first, and presumed weak, had risen not only to survive but to command respect, fear, and admiration, proving that humanity's ingenuity, adaptability, and unbreakable were forces no civilization could ignore. And in the silence of space after the storms of battle, one certainty resonated across every system, every fleet, and every consciousness that had witnessed humanity's response. The galaxy had learned the hardest lesson possible, that underestimating humans was not only dangerous, it was fatal, and that the species they had attacked first would forever remain a force that could never be taken lightly, a force that would shape the future of the stars with brilliance, determination, and an unyielding spirit that no enemy could ever hope to suppress.